Hello. Welcome. Good afternoon to everybody from who is joining us from Indonesia, and good morning to those of us who are joining in from France. Welcome to the European Higher Education Fair virtual exhibition.
Hello. Good afternoon, all of you. I think you're muted, Dila.
Yeah, sorry, we cannot hear you.
I am sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, good afternoon to those of us who are joining from Indonesia, and good morning to those of us who are in France. Welcome to the European Higher Education Fair virtual exhibition and talk show. First and foremost, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dila Haju, and I will be your moderator for this session. Before we begin, though, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone.
Sorry, you are muted again.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's a technical issue. Yes, again, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone that this exhibition will commence until 6 p.m. So do check out all the virtual booths and upcoming talk show sessions that will commence until 6 p.m. The topic of this session is how French business schools offer diverse networking opportunities. This is a very specific topic, so I am interested to see how this talk show will develop. And I will introduce the universities that will be joining us today. We have the Neoma Business School in the cities of Rouen, Reims, and Paris. It is a private, it is a private university. And TBS, which stands for Toulouse Business School. In the city of Toulouse, it is also a private university. And last one is RBS, or Rennes. I just learned how to pronounce it. Rennes School of Business in the city of Rennes, Paris, and also a private universities. I have all the representatives with me, and I will introduce them one by one. So maybe perhaps we can start with Miss Min Woo, who is the admission manager for Southeast Asia from the Neoma Business School.
Hi, everyone. Great pleasure to be here online to meet you. I'm actually now in Indonesia. I just finished the physical fair, which was really a success. I'm looking for more exchange with you online. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Mr. Romain Lupies, Head of International Admissions from the Toulouse Business School, TBS. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Great pleasure. So I'm the head of international admissions at TBS. So actually, TBS Toulouse Business School has several campuses. The main one is in Toulouse. We also have a campus in Paris, in Barcelona, and in Casablanca, Morocco. So happy to be here and to answer any questions that the audience will have.
Okay, thank you. And last but definitely not least, we have here Charles Kilik, who is the Southeast Asia Area Manager from the Rennes School of Business. Rennes School of Business. Yes, hi. Welcome.
Hello, hi, thank you for the introductions. I'm very happy to be here. Indeed, I'm the Southeast Asia Area Manager, which means I live in Southeast Asia full-time to be able to meet the students and come quite often also in Indonesia. I'm very happy to be here today to answer all your questions.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay, so without further ado, we will just dive right in, yes? I would also like to remind everybody, all the participants who are joining, that feel free to write down your questions in the comment and chat box, and I will do my very best to make sure that they are answered within the session. But if not, do not fret. The virtual exhibition on all the virtual booths are available up until 6 p.m. So, okay, let's get started. We shall start with the first question. What is your uniqueness compared to other business schools in Europe? So I think this is specific for each business school. Uniqueness. I think it's a general word, but maybe you could share what comes to mind. Perhaps we can start with Mr. Charles.
Yes, sure. I think for Rennes School of Business, the main point will be the help that we provide to the students from A to Z. The fact that we're being usually in the country, we come quite often. We help them to find the accommodation. We help them with the visa. Once they arrive in the city, we come pick them up at the airport. We help you to find an accommodation. We help you to get introduced to the PPE, for example, or to meet some friends quite easily. We have a customer service at school. It's a team of 5 people. Their job is just to answer any of your question. Can be you have a problem in your apartment, you go ask them. You have a problem with your visa, you go ask them. You don't know where is your next class is, you go ask them. To be sure that we actually you're never alone. You always know who to talk to, and you feel comfortable about everything that is outside of the classroom, so that you can focus on your study and having a nice experience. I think that's the main point that will set us apart from the other business school in France.
Okay, thank you. Over to Miss Minwoo. Perhaps you would like to share.
Yeah,
Yes.
with pleasure. Firstly, we are a triple crown business school with ASSP, EQUIS, and EMBA. So only 1% of the whole university worldwide have this triple accreditation. And then something we are really strong that relates to network is we have very strong international partnership with universities. We have 400 worldwide, 88 of them are also accredited. So we have the biggest network of academic partners among all the business schools. Also, we have a strong alumni network thanks to our 151 years history. We have the 4th biggest alumni network in France, among all the business schools. And also something very strong is the corporate network. We have over 1,000 companies working with us in the daily teaching and learning, in some projects, internship, and they also offer many job opportunities to us. Another thing to add is we are really supporting a lot on entrepreneurship and innovation. We are trying to be the leader in digital transformation to help startup to grow with our incubators and some special programs such as Master in Entrepreneurship and Innovation to really support our students. So I think that can make us a little bit different from other schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winwoo. And yes, and to close up, Mr. Romain, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I would start by saying that the uniqueness of our school, of course, would be the location. Every school has a different location. We're at the heart of the southwest part of France. Toulouse is very famous for one thing, like a couple of things, but one major thing, which would be the aerospace industry. So from our bachelor level all the way to our executive MBA programs, we have the aerospace management, aviation management included in every program. So it's very big. We have like strong partnerships with Airbus and pretty much every suppliers of Airbus. So as it's like the main subject of the webinar is about networking. So the networking opportunities for people wanting to work in aerospace and aviation management, it's very, very big, and we ease your network opportunities and capabilities with Airbus and all these big names working around Airbus. So this is why I'm speaking about location, because it's a strategic location. It's still in the southwest part, so it's very central. You can get like a plane to pretty much like all like Europe. Like it's very central. We do have something else in terms of specialization, which is we're pretty big in terms of aerospace and big data. We have the Aerospace Valley, of course, still because of Airbus. Aerospace Valley is basically the Silicon Valley, but for aerospace. And also the IoT Valley. so Internet of Things, everything around big data, artificial intelligence. We have programs ranked in the top like 3 in the QS ranking for the big data ones. So yeah, also we have a lot of things to say, but I would say that what makes us apart would be like these specializations, the fact that you have the possibility to, if we're speaking about the bachelor level, to start in Toulouse, then from second year you can go to Barcelona, then from your third year you can explore another campus. So very internationally focused.
Campuses.
Yeah, it's very, actually the student, whenever they start, let's say the bachelor program, whenever they start, they design their own path throughout the program. So it's a 3-year program. They can start in Barcelona, Toulouse, Casablanca. They can go in the second year, switch campus, or go to a partner university. And in the third year, depending on the specialization that the students will choose, they can choose another campus.
Okay.
So yeah, specialization and the way that you can design your own path internationally, that would be what set us apart. Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. On to the next question. So the question is how does your business school work with professional partners? And as I understand, I feel like we've touched a little bit on the subject during from answering the first one. But I think it's interesting because yes, you mentioned the partners, but maybe even giving examples, with specific examples would be good as well. Maybe we can start with backwards with Mr. Romain, because I find it, because you did mention names like Airbus or perhaps aerospace. I specifically, when I was 5 years old, I don't know if this aligns, but I always wanted to be an astronaut when I was 5.
Okay.
Not now. I'm in environmental education, but I have always been intrigued by because you don't really connect the dots between business and aerospace. I mean, like business wise, I mean, you imagine about being the pilot, you imagine about engineering, but business side, I feel that would be interesting. So maybe you can shine some light on that, on how you work with the professional partners.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. So speaking of Airbus specifically, so we are a business school. We offer business programs. Okay, so all the business, when we speak about aerospace aviation management, it will still have a technical side of it, but it's still a business background. So it's like how to navigate throughout this aerospace world and working at the management position or like a sales or business development position, marketing position, but knowing everything about the sector. You will not be like an engineer going out of school, but you get to know the environment of aerospace aviation management, because the one thing which is important to understand is whenever you start, so bachelor level would be less, but at the master level, you have people coming from the professional background that will teach you. Yeah. So you will have like people with a PhD, okay, very academic professors, and you also have, and we're talking about like 60% like corporate professionals coming to the school, offering class to you. So, and I'm saying that to a lot of students, and too few actually understand the power of network. But your professor, the people that you will have in front of you, may be working at a company that you dream of working with. Like I have like a specific example. So aerospace is something. Let's move from aerospace for a minute. Yeah. So we had, I think it was a Master of Science in Big Data Marketing and Management student that just handed out a CV, a resume, to one of his professor that was working at HSBC. So HSBC,
the bank,
pretty much big bank. Yeah. Actually, I have 2 examples, and another one that did exactly the same thing and is now working at PwC, at the consulting firm. So they just say, okay, professor, where do you come from? So, the professor, they introduce themselves. I'm coming from this company, and say, oh, you're coming from, I want to have an internship with your company. Boom, as easy as it is, done. okay, you go through the interview process, but the network starts with the people like right next to you. You never know. And the professor would be your first point of contact, but you never know what your next, the person sitting next to you might be your next colleague, employee, employer, client. So you never know. So it's very important to, when you have the chance to integrate a business school, and we are among today like great business schools, you have to benefit of what we call network. I believe some of you have heard, your network is your net worth.
Yes, that's saying,
it's so true. It's so true. So starting with the professor that are working at like different companies, and also we have kind of a business games at the master's level, where actually things gets really practical. So you have a company, an executive from a company that is coming to the school. Let's say HSBC, for example. Hey, I have this problem in my company. I want you students help me solve this problem for my company. So this is like a big business game. They work like in groups from, I don't know, somebody from the MSc Big Data, somebody from the MSc Finance, somebody from the MSc, you name it. So they gather in group, they work for 2 or 3 weeks. And after that, the same executive is coming back and say, okay, what's your insight? I want you to help me solve this problem. And he pick a winner's team, and then he applies the findings to his own company. So it's practical. It's something the students can put on their CV as an achievement. And it's a great opportunity to network as well. So that's just to mention a few. And of course, the 49,000+ alumni that we have in our network that can be like, that are always happy to help guide you. Okay, what did you do after? Because they lead the program. They are like the face of the program more than us executive. So it's a trust. It's another layer of trust for the students. So yeah, these three opportunities I would say are
real examples. Okay, thank you, Mr. Romain. Think we can move on to Mr. Charles, perhaps. So how your business school works with professional partners. And this could be both corporate, could be with other universities as well, or government. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. So on our side, we also make a kind of a difference between the bachelor programs and the master programs. The idea of the bachelor program is to meet a lot of different companies. We usually invite them on campus so that they come either to teach for the students, to make presentation, to work on business case together. Usually is problem that they had to face in the past and how they managed to solve it, and they try to check how the students would solve it in the current time as well. The idea is that usually at the bachelor level we have a lot of students that are still looking what they want to do in their future, and the idea is to introduce them to a lot of different kind of companies, either big groups or small companies or entrepreneur, but also a lot of different sectors. Can be from the finance, can be from the more engineering parts, can be in the human resources, can be, business can be applied to so many things that it's important for us that students can experience this in order to find what they like. However, when they will move to the master degree, it will be really specialized. There is no more discovery, and this will be definitely more about the networking, about getting the players of the industry you want to work in, getting the contacts, as mentioned by Romain before. They can be either your customer, they can be your employer as well, they can be your partner, so it's quite important. In order to do this, we try to do this in a lot of different countries, not only in France. Since half of our students are international students, we try to develop partnership with companies abroad. I think, for example, in Indonesia, we work a lot with Michael Page, which is a recruitment agency that will help the students also to find a job once they graduate, either Indonesian students that are coming back after studying in France, or either French students that want to set up in Indonesia. We also work with like French companies, obviously, to help the network, not only in France, but abroad. And for this, we also work a lot with local universities, usually in the top 10, to make sure that their network and our network can be shared together. So Yeah, I think we all have a lot of similarity when it comes to networking. It's important to know people when it comes to business, and
Yeah.
it is something that we focus a lot on. But we don't want to do it only in France, but also in other countries.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Sure.
And to close, Miss Minwoo, perhaps?
They have already mentioned a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something similarly, but like I mentioned earlier, in Neoma Business School for the professional network, if it's about academic partners, we have many double degree options or exchange opportunities at bachelor and master level. For example, we have a double bachelor program called CSAM. You can study 2 years in France, 2 years we have in America, Asia, Europe, in 13 countries, different partner you can go to study with, and even possible in New York or Boston, Canada, etc., to get 2 degrees in 2 years. So this is one of the network they can benefit from. Also in master level, we have many dual master options. In our 2-year master in management, they can get 1 master from us and another master from our partner also in 10 countries in 2 years. So this is something they can use to explore a different culture, different country for study. And also when we talk about professional networking with companies, we have many also as official partner in some of our master program. For example, in the entrepreneurship and innovation, KPMG is our official partner. They help our students individually or as a group to develop their personal project as a startup, or maybe get some personal growth with their support. And also in another program called International Luxury Management, we work with Prada and Tétangère, which is a champagne brand in Hans, where we are located. So they already support a lot in the program during the study. They bring projects, and there are so many external speakers we involve in that program and in many others. In another program we have called Luxury Marketing, we also work with company like Chanel. Last year they bring they provided our students real projects like a Toulouse Business School. Our students, we can do real projects to solve real problem with the company, and they have to present in front of the managers. So this is another kind of support they can always have to get some professional experience. And also they help us a lot when our students have to find internship or permanent job. We have a career service. They are really strong to help our students in employment. And each year we have an internal website. We publish over 20,000 job and internship offers. So those are all the network our students can use to find a good internship, not just in France, it can be anywhere. So that are some examples from us, how we support us. And then don't forget the alumni network. We have a big one. They have in different countries called different tribes. So there are during pandemic, many events online, but now it's back in real life to connect you with your former graduates from the same school. And then you can really grow your career with those network. And another very simple example or two all students probably should use, such as LinkedIn, to connect with all the professors already mentioned, and also the external speakers when they come to give a lecture from a real company to offer you projects, try to connect with them. So with all this support, I think our students really have very good future in their future career. Or if they want to build their own company as a startup, they can use our incubator. We have also very strong support on this, even some exchange program with other incubator, other universities worldwide. So they can also take courses, experience even in UC Berkeley in the Silicon Valley for some startup trial. So those are just some examples. They can really use all the resources to grow and to develop their professional network.
Wow. Okay, thank you. I think it is safe to say from all the universities that are here right now, if you enter any one of these universities, you should be good career-wise, because network-wise and the way that they work with the professional partners, I myself feel safe. So thank you for that. On to our next question. But before I do, I would like to once again remind the participants that if you do have any questions, personal questions, do write them down in the comment and chat box. And please do not forget to write your name and where you're from so we can get to know you a little bit better. On to our next question. How is your MBA program different from your MSc, a master's program in your business programs? I think that's what they mean. Maybe we can start with Miss Minwoo, perhaps? We can start with Miss
Okay,
Minwoo.
I will
Yes.
answer shortly because we don't have full-time MBA in Neoma,
Oh, I
unfortunately.
see. Okay,
We have
okay.
MBA, which is a higher level. However, our 1-year Master of Science, they're quite similar to MBA structure. We don't need 3 years working experience to join, but when they join this kind of specialized master, they focus on one field or another, such as finance or marketing, to match their interest and also their future career. Also, in all of our Master of Science program, full-time program, we try to combine one or the other certificates, professional certificates, such as in finance, CFA or FRM, or maybe we have a wine and a gastronomy program. We provide them the WSEC wine tasting certificate, and also some in project manager like Prince 2. So we have all those professional tools and the certificate to support them to find a better career. So that's something we have in our masters.
I see. Okay, thank you. Maybe we can head over to Mr. Charles, perhaps. Yes.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I guess for us, the main difference between the master, so the Master of Science, and the MBA will be about the project that the applicant will have. Usually, our MBA is more focused if you already have a project, if you know exactly what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
It's really linked to innovation, a little bit also with sustainability, with leadership. So it really comes with something that you want to do, that you want to achieve. It includes, for example, a trip in Africa to learn about sustainability, a trips in Portugal to know a little bit more about
sustainability, yeah.
innovation and entrepreneurship as well. So yeah, I think if you really have an idea, you know what you want to do with your diploma, the MBA will be the place to go. However, we require at least 3 years of experience for it. So you need to learn a few things before. Yes, exactly. The Masters, so the Master of Science, I think are more open. We don't require any work experience, and we have around 15 specialization. So the Master of Science are more for students that are willing to discover a sector that they don't know very well yet, and a sector in which they want to create a network as well. It can be in luxury brand management, for example. It can be in finance and artificial intelligence. It can be in entrepreneurship as well. But we will introduce you very specifically into those topics and the topics that you will choose for the specialization, where the MBA will be more about you and what you want to do. I hope it made sense.
It does.
All right,
I'm pretty sure. And if they need more information, they can always visit your virtual booth. Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And close, Mr. Romain.
Yes, thank you. So we do have MSc programs. We do have MBA programs. So the main difference, as like speaker of TBS education, would be the requirements. First of all, we provide executive MBA with 2 tracks. Of course, one of them, you kind of guessed, aerospace. And the second one is like strategic management, so more like global management. But what we will be requiring is at least 3 to 5 years of working experience. So it's basically designed for people that are already in the sector that wants to get to the next level. Yeah. So, and this is something Okay, it's generally speaking, in France versus in the US, the name MBA can be understood differently. In France, schools generally require some working experience. Generally, at least some 3 years would be the minimum. And people wanting to do an MBA end up in 90% of the cases doing a master program, like an MSc, like a specialized master. MSc is Master of Science. What it means is just a specialization. You choose a specialization, or just a master in management. So the name can differ. So that would be like the main difference. After going back to the question before about networking, at TBS we do have some partner universities delivering an MBA. So basically, you do the master in management. You realize you don't have a working. You want to do an MBA, but you realize you don't have a working experience. So, oh, finally, I might be eligible to do an MSc in the end, or master in management. Master in management, you start 1 year at TBS Education. In the second year, you get the chance to go to Georgia State. Georgia State is a partner university of TBS. Georgia State is in the US. And Georgia State delivers an MBA degree for the second year students of the Master in Management of TBS. So basically, you can, but it's the American system. That's why it's open for people with less experience, is because it's the American system. So basically, you can get a double degree from TBS Education and Georgia State in the US. So you graduate with a double degree, paying the same fees as a school in France. So that's a great deal, actually.
Okay.
Because if you wanted to go and study an MBA at Georgia State on your own, I don't know, it will cost you around like 60 to 80 grand. So that's the main difference. People need to understand that there is a difference between the MBA, how the American system will understand it, where you don't necessarily require like 5 years of experience. In France, generally speaking, and specifically speaking of TBS Education, because we offer executive MBA, global executive MBAs, you can understand that you need to have some working experience, like some real working experience in the field already.
Okay, thank you. So I think that wraps up our talk show session. We have some questions coming in for our Q&A. I'm not sure if we have time to answer all, but I think we have time for 2 questions. Starting with the first one from Dea. I think this is a more relaxed question. It's actually not, it might be about this business schools or not, but there's a question on specifically how living in France is for an international student. So because I think in terms of questions of administration and diversification, and since the topic is about diverse networking opportunities, it does not just isn't limited within the campus within itself, but how it is living there, the living culture for an Southeast, or specifically now for a Southeast Asian student. Maybe perhaps we can start with Miss Minwoo, perhaps.
Okay, the living in France, if you don't know much yet, you don't have to speak French to study with us to live in France. If you speak a little bit, your life will be easier. Also, when you study with us, even in an English teaching program, we offer some French language courses, so you can pick up it. And also, you will learn always together with the French students. You will learn very fast. And also the living in France, if you wonder the cost of living, in our 2 campuses in the Normandy region called Rouen and east of Paris, Reims, they are just 1 hour from Paris, but the living cost is probably just half. In Paris, if you wonder, it can be 1,100 euros per month or even more. But in the 2 other cities, similar in many other smaller cities in France, it's around maybe 700 euros per month to cover everything. And in Neoma, we offer student accommodation, housing, individual room next to the campus or in the city center. In Paris, we work with other partners. They offer similar service of accommodation. It can be everywhere in Paris. And something I'd like to mention is the French government support for students, not just a French student, but all, including international. And for rents, they refund you partly for what you pay for your monthly rent. So that's a great support from the government. And yeah, you can expect sometimes 100 or 200 euros per month, depends on the size, location, condition of your rented room or apartment. So this is something you can always enjoy as a benefit. And also, when living in France as a student, there are many discounts you can benefit from as student. Some are even free, like museums for students under the age of 26. So all of those you can really have as a support financially and also in your daily life. It will be, I mean, it's quite comfortable and we feel it's secure. Some questions I had during the fair, like about religion, like Muslim students on the campus. In general, there's no restriction or anything you couldn't do, but yeah, you don't have to worry much. We offer good services for international students.
I think it's always, it is impossible to not be nervous if you've never been abroad and you go to
yeah, even if you go to a new city in Indonesia, you may feel
nervous. Yeah, exactly. This is international, so
to adapt. There are student association. They gather international students, even to organize some weekend tour in neighboring cities or even Disneyland. So you will meet new friends. You will learn the culture, and I mean, normally you can fit in pretty well.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Minwoo. Maybe Mr. Romay, would you like to add, perhaps?
Yeah, so actually, yes, French language is something that international students, they always ask, you know, oh, I need to do an internship, that's great, but I don't speak French. So yeah, French surely will help. I'd say it's not like 100% mandatory, but it will strongly help. That's why at the master's level, we offer like French classes. It's complimentary. You don't have to follow them. We'll just give you the basics. We do have some students that they don't speak, like they say bonjour, au revoir, you know, merci, like the three like first words that you will learn, and they end up working at a big corporation. So the first thing is, in terms of working, it will depend on where you want to land. If you want to target a big corporation where your level of French would be helpful, but not as important as if you want to target like a more local company. Speaking of the price, the lifestyle, the culture, Toulouse has been elected for the 5th year in a row, first student city in France. So, and I think it's the 7th time in a row since 2013. So that's for a reason. That's because Toulouse is the 4th largest city in France, but yet among the big 5, the most affordable. If it has been elected first student city in France, it's for a reason, and it's generally around price. Like things are affordable. Lots of students in Toulouse, so they know that they can have, like, as Minwoo was saying, they know that they will have like everything pretty much cut in half, like 50% off pretty much everything in France from the moment you're a student. Yeah, after, I guess the price is something. The culture, yes, French people might not be the most English-speaking person. So this is why we encourage and we push students to learn French.
Yeah.
But in the end, we do have Indonesian students. They just took care of their time in France. I want to live the best experience of my life. I know it comes through learning a bit of French. So French will help. After, depending on the lifestyle that you have, the place where you want to live, it would cost you, if you want to live in the city center of Toulouse alone on your own, it will cost you like 750 euros. If you want a room share, it will cost you cut that in half. After in business school and in big business schools, triple accredited business school, you have this dedicated department, the International Students Office, that is here for you. Because it's daunting. It's the first time for some of you that you will say, okay, should I go to France? Wow, I'm so scared. And what if, and what if, and what if? I think all these three schools right here may already have an example of a student that first came, hated his first year. They hated their first year. No, they hated their first year. They were like, I don't know, I'm so lost. You speak to the student like 2 years after.
And they're good.
I don't want to leave. I'm staying. You know, it's that. It's kind of a natural behavior, human behavior. You're scared, but you don't know. You're scared of the unknown. So this is why international student offices are here. At CBS, we have like kind of a mentor, an international mentor that is here for you, that lived the same experience of moving abroad to another country. They are here to find an accommodation, to deal with anything related to the visa, everything related to your student status, opening a bank account, going to the French administration, through the French administration system. So people really appreciate this kind of service, and the fact that they are like greeted by students, because this is an international students office, and there are also like a welcome team. Hey, welcome. You remind me of me like 2 years ago. I was in the exact same position. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So we kind of ease the process of getting into a new country.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Romain. Mr. Charles, would you like to close, perhaps?
Yes, sure. I guess I will talk mostly for the city of Rennes, because I'm not sure about all the cities, how it works. But yes, I think at the beginning it's not that easy to actually come to France. Having French people, they're not always just super welcoming at the beginning. But after maybe a few months, you get used to it, they get used to you as well, and things go very well. So yeah, the beginning is a little bit tough, to be honest, but I think it's something quite similar in all countries. To give you just a few statistics about Rennes that will maybe help you to get a context. The city is around 250,000 people. You have 30% of the population that are students. You have 15 mosques for the religion. Yes, you have the equivalent of the MRT, so the underground, the subway to go around. You have, I think, 6 hospitals, more than 100 restaurants, so you will be safe, not hungry, and I know it's important. The weather is also something to consider, that the weather changes a lot in France. It's part of the experience as well, to get a little bit rainy, maybe in November, maybe a little bit of snow as well, very nice during the summer. So there are quite a lot of good things also about France, the whole culture that you can get in all the cities. There is a lot of things to do outside of the classroom, and I think it's important to enjoy it. And it's also our job, I think, of all the business school, to make sure that you will have access to this in a good environment. So I guess I will close on that.
Yes, thank you very much. We have limited time. I think I do, though, want to fit in this very last question. I will open to anybody who would like to answer, but so it's specifically asking about sustainable business practice. So I think it's I think words like climate finance and or carbon trading, things like that. Is that something that's can be explored at these business schools? Perhaps if anybody would like to answer. This is from Ria. Yeah, I will just open the floor to anybody. Maybe we can start with Mr. Charles, perhaps, or Ms. Minou. Would you like to answer?
Yeah, just a quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
because we are focusing this new business sector, and we are going to launch a new master program called Sustainability Transformation. So it's for students aiming to be specialists in a company, in the government, or NGO, or even their own company, a startup, to keep the business sustainable, to grow in long term. So we will have this brand new program. Pretty soon we will have the full details on the website.
Okay, yes, they can visit Virtual Booth or your website. Yeah.
Pay attention maybe to some updates from us, and you will have this brand new choice from us.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. From Mr. Charles or Mr. Romain, perhaps, would you like to add on?
Yeah, sure.
Yes? Okay.
I think sustainability is very important. We notice that a lot of companies, they realize that what they are doing is not always good for the environment, and a lot of them are actually looking for people that know about ecology, but also about business in order to go to a transformation. And it's something that we address a lot at Rennes School of Business, both at the bachelor level, but also as a master. So you will find programs specialized in those, but also in the school, in the daily life, you will not see a lot of plastic in the university, and we're very engaged on that point. So it's something that you can experience in the academic, but also outside.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Romain, would you like to close?
Yeah, very quickly, because I understand we're short of time. So included in the academic background, like very big in everything around like green CSR. The CSR policy of TBS is like just getting like super important. We are building a new campus that has to cope with all of these rules of carbon reduction and all of that. So it's something that is definitely anchored in our DNA. We really want our students to understand that from the bachelor level, they have a project to plant a tree. Like every student had a project to plant a tree in Africa. So it's very, very, very something that is included in the DNA, and we want our students and our partners in general to really understand that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And that ends our Q&A session. Yay, very, very effective, I feel. These all three universities are wonderful choices. So to all who are watching, do make sure to visit their virtual booths for more information. Before I close the session, I would like to give an opportunity for each representative to give a closing statement. Perhaps maybe we could start with Mr. Charles from Rennes School of Business. I give the floor to you.
Sure. I'll just say thank you for welcoming us today. It was very nice to share a little bit about the specificities of our business school. And as mentioned before, we're always available for you. So feel free to come on the booth. You can go on the website. All the social media are available as well. So feel free to explore a little bit. I think we all know that getting to either a bachelor or a master is a big decision in terms of money, but also in terms of time. So take time to explore all the schools and see what we're doing. Thank you for today again. That was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. To Ms. Minou from Neoma Business School.
Yes, it's really a great pleasure to be in this event and to share some updates we have, also to help you with your choice. Just a kind of reminder, our application is already open for the coming intake 2023 in the fall. And if you come early, we have also like early bird scholarship for those who are admitted by us before February. And also we have some other school scholarship called Excellence. You can have up to 5,000 euros. Last thing, for those who really have good profile, check a little bit the French government scholarship called EIFEL. It's a great one, but very competitive. Also, you have to be admitted by us or any school around December. So time is very short.
Yes.
Don't miss the chance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Minou. And to Mr. Romain.
Yes, so just like a quick word to students, get to assess what your priorities are. Every one of you in the room is different. Some of you want to go in France, some of you want to go after specialization. Just take time. I think you already know yourself pretty well. It's not like the end of the road if you choose a school and then you say, oh, maybe it's not the specialization that I will go after. Whatever happens, you will live a truly international and amazing experience. So get to assess what your priorities are. Are you after a specialization? Are you after a school? Are you after a ranking? Are you after like a location? Just go for it. You will have an amazing time. And of course, we'll be here to assist you should you have any like more questions. So thank you very much for this session, and I hope to speak to some of you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And those were all of the closing statements from all three of our universities. I hope it was a very fruitful session. And if you are just joining in just now and you missed us, don't worry. The European Higher Education Fair virtual exhibition is still active, so you can visit their virtual booths. And here, as you can see, are the websites for each school. Do feel free to visit and find as much information as you can. I have just spent almost an hour with these three representatives, and I feel very safe. I'm sure they will answer anything you may be concerned of. Yes, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again all soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.